Now, they've been told to stay at home and face up to 10 years. Will also be made to pay a fine of up to 12,000 Ghana cedis if they violate the lockdown order. This afternoon, more than 1,000 residents in Old Fadama are without a home after their buildings were destroyed in a demolition exercise. The Accra Metropolitan Assembly joined forces with the Ministry of Sanitation and the AMA to pave way for the dredging of the Korle Lagoon by bringing down those structures that they live in. This is happening at a time when some cases of COVID-19 have been confirmed in and around this particular community, with many said to be exposed to positive cases. So which home do they go to when they hear government's campaign #stay at home? We'll speak to the Slum Union of Ghana shortly on what the way forward is. First, though, Parker Wilson, who visited the community today, has joined me in the studio as he introduces to you some of the things he's been hearing from the people. Parker, it's good to have you this afternoon. Let's start with what you saw the moment you got there, the first thing that you saw.
A state of despair for the slum dwellers. And, of course, the wooden structures which served as their accommodation were reduced to rubble, and some of them were just trying to pick the plywood up. I don't know where they were taking it to. Some of the landlords were very upset that that is the only business that they do, and for now we are in the lockdown period. They have nowhere to go, and this is what has happened to them. So let's take a look at the visuals we're putting on the screen, Parker. This is what this place looks like at the moment. And these are the kind of structures that people live in. Wooden structures that people live in. And Gibson, let me tell you that this structure, for example, almost about 10 people are in the structure. Well, then certainly you could say this is some sort of a good thing, because 10 people in this tiny structure, that's dangerous. It's actually not a good thing, because now they'll be compelled to move into the other wooden structures, other smaller structures as well, and probably have more than 10 people in a particular so tiny that is structure. The concern they are raising. That is the major concern that the slum dwellers were raising, that at the time we are fighting COVID-19 and asking them to stay home. Now you've closed all borders, no vehicles are applying on the road. I mean, intercity is not working, and so they can't go back to their hometown. Now you are asking them to you are evicting them from their wooden structures. Makeshift structures. And they're not happy with it. I spoke to some of them. Exactly? I spoke to some of them. Let's listen to the one I spoke to. Over 1,000 slum dwellers here at Old Fadama have been rendered homeless. Now, this is because the Assembly and the Sanitation Ministry is carrying out the dredging of the Korle Lagoon. And JoyNews understands that the reason why the over 800 wooden structures which serves as accommodation for the slum dwellers have been demolished is because they want to pave way for the dredging exercise. Now, just behind me is the earth moving equipment desilting the Korle Lagoon. They have heaped sand where the tipper trucks will come and convey the sand. A lot of them, including nursing mothers, children, are loitering. They are stranded. Today, I want to speak to some of them as to how those exercise is going to affect them going forward. Almost Argentina, we had Omuyesa, Sesa, and Ukran, a dear, Omu, you were Dabon, Tantum Beckham, Acolamis on Tutum Beckham, or Hone Edi Malaria, but Onusuya Alekese. Until Domuyan, and warm, and a second one, Concom Omun Buet saying any part. Omun Cheki Akra, Bibi say Omutimi Balon Bayan, Passa, Adia Omuyan, and Niquest Omuyan, and Omuyan. Until Omuya, Omusunomu, and Omun Fase, Omun Cancer, any Nipa Baku. Say a moment to almost down with them. I had to enjoy and Fataso Mumbu and Maya. Say, yeah, they are here and Omumbia, no Bianco crew.
because you need baby beda uda abonti de bia ebe ye nso mu bie kwame na enko ye kuro.
Right, so essentially what she's saying is that, I mean, government should apply human face to this demolition exercise. And first of all, they wouldn't have anywhere to sleep. They will be stranded, of course, at night. Mosquitoes will bite their kids. She has about 8-month-old kid just behind her, and it's a worrying situation for her. And as a matter of fact, she says that government actually erred in demolishing their structures. There's another woman here that I want to speak to briefly. She also has a child. Madam,
Pacho, I'm 9 months.
You're 9 months.
Pacho.
You will die, no, you say, over a day.
Sabontin and better, knife and better. Mini baby, I'm quite so many abusa for the hour has it. And say, Abubunusa, me denye, and no Mabubunu. You say, I mean, baby, I'm Beko. It's a papa, chowai, or my can and quack room.
Now, me pacho, me to say, see, you can't catch on say. They will demolish more structures and send a lockdown the buy. It's adding to a manco and send lockdown.
Say, Niska. Ya Niska. Ya pesca, my skaka, yanko, non be a quite man, uncle. Because you see, I or be to me, yes, come for higher than work room. First, the moon eban, we named the bay, to say, we are soon upon Yakitan Palayan to Mintana, Abontisa. On Fitana Pay and Didia, Cracom, Nedia. Mudi Muyana Mudia, Johnny Gupak, Munamudia Bres, I Johnny and Pe, Muya Mufa, Mua and Nia, Namufambra, Yanka Sabet Mania, Bemu Mudia Muna, Ken di Brayade, Yanya Isa, Yanti prison for Cromuya Musa, Te Pamacho, Mumpeka, my name quite a crew.
Also, money. What is it?
9 months.
9 months. You say 9 months. So you go down. It's here now, so better than
oh, you better want because you're pede and yard. Open them crown because I hired it. It's a pay cow for your crew.
Right, so these are stranded mothers who are here at Old Fadama. Essentially, they are saying that government should make available transportation for them to go back to their home region. They have nowhere to spend the night. Of course, look at the environment. In fact, she tells me that trying to get accommodation would even be difficult because sometimes in the kiosk, about 10 people are housed in one structure, and now that their wooden structures have been demolished, what it means is that they have to add on to the existing tent in none of the affected areas, and this could actually tout or twat the government efforts in containing the spread of COVID-19. Well, she thinks that is going to compound the situation.
Musi share them. Yeah, share them. Yeah, share them now. Yes, yeah, share them. Be quick, Juma. Yeah, if you musi share them to say, you're fair, you man, I day.
Now, it is only if I'm better.
Son and pessimistic. Says, yeah, to me, Dahanuma. Now, Mom will bet you try one to me, banner me down for me down my fine mama.
Now, but you're how many months pregnant?
Mrs. Yaka Cramble, they see me pay me here more. I see. They see I'm able to 90 me need I madam. I walk come to see me who says here. I find I'm better. I say, see, I so much coin here be corn off. Meeting on me, I can't corn off. Me, a dance soon, me, a dance soon. This is anything.
Well, she's a pregnant woman, almost due for delivery, and she's asking if she's in labor right now, what's going to happen to her, and that what has happened to her is quite unfortunate. She's here with her husband, and they've demolished their structure. Now, as a pregnant woman, she doesn't know what to do, and she's asking government to come and assist them, at least if not provide a vehicle for her to go back to Bolga, at least, or provide a temporary structure as to serve as an accommodation for her, because she's almost due for delivery. So here at Old Fadama, this is the situation for a number of the affected individuals, a number of the mothers and the nurses, the husbands, all that. it's going to affect them, and these are the concerns they have raised. For JoyNews, I am Chrissy Parker Wilson, reporting from Old Fadama.
So what are your thoughts? I mean, this is a very dicey situation. This is a time where everybody is being asked to stay at home to contain the spread of COVID-19. But they said that this action was necessary so that they can dredge the Korle Lagoon. And we all know the meaning of dredging the Korle Lagoon. It creates a lot of flooding in these areas, and we've lost lives because of that. So what does government do? What do you expect government to do? Let's hear from you on that number right there on your screen. Send us a WhatsApp message. Do not call the line. Send us a WhatsApp message on what your thoughts are as far as this story is concerned. I still have Parker here in the studio. So Parker, have we had any response, official response from the AMA?
Not yet. My source at the AMA tells me that the residents were actually informed of this demolition exercise. And in fact, the slum dwellers themselves admit that indeed they came to inform them that they were going to carry out such.
As far back as when?
They said like a month ago that they were going to carry out such a demolition exercise within the area, of course, to pay way for the tipper trucks to come and carry the sand. But they were not told as to when the exercise would be carried out. And of course, they were not expecting that during this period of lockdown, that is when the AMA and the sanitation ministry should come and carry out the lockdown. And as he had the sentiments expressed, clearly they have nowhere to go, and it is the wrong timing for the Assembly and the AMA to carry out such exercise. But the AMA hasn't been able to give us an official response. Our sources say that, well, they informed them, they said they're going to come to do the thing, and they've come to carry out the exercise. So that is what they have to do. Okay,
let me take some messages before we let you go, Parker. This one says, what is going on in this country? You don't add your name or your location. This one says, please, I believe it's not anyone's fault, but the day they were asked to go to their homes, they should have paid respect to it. You mean that they should have gone back to the north when they were told to? Says Asemo, although I strongly suggest the exercise, but the thing is totally wrong. My suggestion is government should relocate them to one of the SHS temporarily of our town, for our own good. You say this is coming from Apam from Kumasi, and he says hashtag stay at home. Now that's the dilemma of the people who live at Old Fadama. This one says, Gifty, sympathy is not what we are talking about here. The demolition is long overdue. This one said, it is very worrying what's happening at Old Fadama. Gifty, I think in as much as notice was given before the exercise, the officials had it all wrong. In this era of pandemic and the lockdown, demolition is not the way out. If these people should go to the streets, will they be among those that defy government directives? Honestly, I don't have an answer to this. The government should think twice. Parkwesi sent that from Amfuega. Okay, let me take my final message, and then Parker will wrap up with you on this. This one said, this Fadama demolition is going to break discomfort to the residents, so governments can provide accommodation for them while they address the issue. Sharif Dean from Salaga. Thank you for sending in those messages. Keep them coming. So Parker, at the time you were leaving this place, what was happening? What can you say? So
just like we saw in some of the videos, some of them are trying to pack up the remaining wooden the woods there. I mean, I don't know what I should say, whether rubble. And I suspect that probably they'll be going to another place to even set up with the remains that they have. So they were happy with
because
the situation.
They were picking up the pieces,
picking up the pieces. Yeah, they were picking up the pieces. So I suspect.
And we've covered this thing over and over, and we know that it's not really new to see them picking up the pieces, because at the end of the day, what you essentially see is that these structures come up some way, somehow.
Exactly. So that's what I saw when I was leaving the place, and were just appealing to me that at least I should make their concerns, I should carry their concerns to the authorities for them to quickly act on them. But authorities are saying that they encroach on the buffer zone at the Korle Lagoon, and that it is prudent for them to carry out this exercise because they have to desilt the Korle Lagoon. So for them, they insist that what they've done is right, and that they should join the other colleagues or probably find a way of surviving.
Well, we'll see what the options are. Should government make available transportation for them to go back to their hometowns like they are suggesting? What's going to happen? Should they be given temporary shelter, so to speak, since we are all being told to stay at home, and since we're trying to contain the spread of COVID-19? What really should happen? Parker, thank you very much for bringing us that update. Kwesi Parker Wilson there, bringing bringing us those updates from Old Fadama. Let's go live now and on Skype. We'll speak to the Secretary of the Slum Union of Ghana. It's an NGO that fights to improve the well-being of slum dwellers. Sir, thank you very much for your time. Now, first of all, I want to find out from you whether as an NGO, whether you've been in touch with the affected people at Old Fadama, have you?
Hello?
Yes, do you hear me, sir?
Yeah.
Yes, I asked if you've been in touch with those who have been affected.
Hello? Can't hear you well.
Yes, have you been in touch with those who have been affected at Old Fadama?
Yes. I've been in touch with some of the victims of the very inhumane demolition exercise. I've spoken with some of them, and their situation is very dire. They need help immediately.
So this is a very dicey situation, and I was just sharing it with my viewers who are sending in suggestions on what to do. At this time, are there any suggestions on the table from where you sit? Hello, Abdallah. Okay, so we're talking to Abdallah Al-Hassan, who is a secretary for an association that fights for the well-being of slum dwellers. And the story is that over 1,000 slum dwellers have been made homeless at Old Fadama because their makeshift structures have been pulled down so that the Kole Lagoon can be dredged. And this, we're told, is an exercise that was built to happen already. The people there have been given about a month or above notice, and so they know what was happening. But then the situation now is that everybody is being asked to stay at home. Where do they stay if their makeshift structures have been destroyed? Now, those that we've spoken to are asking to be transported back to the north because at this moment, all borders have been shut. Transportation to that far is not allowed. Let's go back. I have Al-Hassan back on the line. Hello, Abdallah. I was asking what options you are considering at the moment on the table for what's happening.
So we are saying that the government should immediately come around and then try to find out how many people are affected, and then they will come up with solutions, such as those who are ready to go back to the north, they should then give them an exemption in this lockdown so they can move. And then those who cannot go anywhere, they should be given alternative decent accommodations for now, at least for the period of the lockdown.
Okay. I mean, sounds like something that's workable, but have you been in touch with the authorities? Do they agree with this?
Yes, so the AMA authorities who are working there, we try to talk to them, but they are not willing to talk to us. They claim they are doing their work and are not ready to speak to anybody. It's unfortunate. This is how it always happens. When they come, they are not willing to speak to anybody. They just go to demolish and go.
So let's talk about this evening. What's going to happen? We're told, I mean, my correspondent that came this afternoon tells us that you could see a very tiny kiosk. And in that particular kiosk, you have about 10 people living there. Now, obviously, that's not good. But the fear is that now that those kiosks have been demolished, these people are then going to add up to others who are in similar kiosks. So if you have 10, for example, you're going to have about 15.
So actually, initially when the social distancing protocol was announced, some of us raised these issues, but it was ignored. These recommendations largely are implemented somewhere else, but not in Old Fadama. In Old Fadama, it's practically impossible to practice this social distance protocol unless we come in and help the people living there. And instead of helping them now, we have even worsened their situation. We have demolished the few houses they have, and now people will now share with others. That means that they are going to even increase the numbers in their rooms. And that's quite unfortunate in this particular time where we want to, implement this social distancing protocol to fight the COVID-19 pandemic.
What do you see? What do you foresee, I should say, is going to happen this evening when it's time to sleep?
My fear is that if the unfortunate happens and the virus gets into the area, then we'll see very alarming rate of infections. And this thing should be considered a national emergency. The state should come in immediately and provide.
Looks like Al-Hassan just froze on me. He'll come back certainly and we'll finish this conversation. So in his opinion, or in the opinion of the Slum Union of Ghana, they think that government should allow for some level of exemption so that those whose structures have been demolished can travel all the way up north from where they came so that they can, and those who have nowhere to go, he said they should be given some temporary shelter in these times of COVID-19 and a lockdown and all. He is also raising concerns about what the possibilities are. That if one person, now the possibility includes a lot more people being crammed up in small, little, tiny structures. And he's saying that if that happens, it's going to worsen the possibilities of community transmission as far as COVID-19 is concerned. He's raising those concerns. He was just telling me what his expectations of government in this time is when he froze on me. But some of you are still sending in your message. Now, those pictures are coming from the location where the demolition went on. And this text, well, I've read this already from Salaga. Let's see what most of you are sending in. Some of you are saying that, well, it's long overdue, and as far as the people have been warned, they should have taken the necessary steps. That's a question I'm hoping to put to the Slum Association of Ghana to find out what their people's own responsibility are in all of this. This one is, well, the messages are just coming in fast and thick. All right, so this one says, much as what they did was necessary to protect both human and property, I still think the timing wasn't good. Let's go back to Skype. I do have Al-Hassan on the line. Hello, Al-Hassan. You were saying something, what you expect that government should do, and that was in response to my question, what you envisage will happen this evening when it is time to sleep.
I expect the government officials, if they are truly serious on fighting the COVID-19 pandemic, they should move in immediately and make sure we understand how many numbers are involved, how many people are affected, and then we try to find alternative accommodations for them. Those who want to move back to the north, they should be given an exemption in this lockdown situation so they can go back. Those who cannot go should be accommodated in decent accommodations so that we don't see a spread of the COVID-19 pandemic amongst them.
Before I wrap up, there's one thing I just want to bring to your attention. Someone just texted this to me. He said that sympathy is not what we're talking about here. The demolition is long overdue. He says he's asking us to go to the adjoining schools to this area, Old Fadama, and he says we will be shocked at what we will see and what the presence of these quarters have done to the adjoining Ayalolo schools and classrooms. Defecation galore. The land they occupied was meant for water catchment area for mainland Accra. The occupancy of the portion of land is what causes regular floods that hit Accra anytime the rains come down heavily. This demolition is long overdue. How do you respond to people who have this position?
Who's making such ridiculous claims? I didn't hear that.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Please, who is?
That's a texter. Someone just texted us.
That's ignorant about the area. He doesn't know the place. First of all, you have to cross a river. You have to cross a river, and then you walk some distance. You have to walk some distance before you get to the Ayalolo school. The Ayalolo school is still okay. There is nothing wrong with it. The people of Old Fadama are not the only people attending school at the Ayalolo school. There are many other residents of Jamestown and other communities that are attending school at Ayalolo. There's no problem at Ayalolo. The people there haven't done anything. Secondly, the person is claiming what? That the people are sitting on what? Waterways or what?
Yes.
I didn't get that. That's not true. Again, the person doesn't know the area. Because if you get there, you realize that the waterway is big enough. No one can build his house on that river, the Odo River. And the Kole Lagoon, nobody can build his house on it. You can't even get close. It's not that easy. So obviously, the person doesn't know the area. It's not true.
Al-Hassan Ibn Abdallah, I'll say a very big thanks to you. This is a story that's still developing. Well, I'm sure we may have to come back to you. We would do so when it becomes necessary. He is the General Secretary or Secretary for Slum Union of Ghana. Their job is to fight. It's to fight for persons who live in slum areas, or slum dwellers, I should say. So the story exactly is that Old Fadama, structures at Old Fadama have been demolished. We've been hoping and expecting to hear from the AMA and the Sanitation Ministry that carried out that activity to get more responses from them. We haven't. What we hear is that the people were given prior notice, and this has been long overdue. We're also told that they've gone far above where they're supposed to stay along that stretch. We'll get more as and when it is made available. This is still The Pulse with me, Gifty and Doc.